We offer the best grooming products for you. Dress on natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, style, class, and luxury. Make our products tailor-made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Grooming company. To give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah. The black gentleman, yeah. Company. To give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com. Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Friday night chop session with Stormybman, the weekend edition for this Saturday, September 6th, 2025. This is a delayed version of the show, as I was a little bit tied up yesterday and couldn't get the show out, but I still wanted to come back and talk some boxing for this weekend as we're getting prepped for a huge weekend of boxing next Saturday, September 13th, as of course you know that we have the big Netflix event, and then there will be the very next day another huge fight that not many people are talking about. I saw my brother Blue Blood Sports TV. Shout out to Blue Blood, who's the hardest working brother out here in the boxing spaces, putting out that boxing content. For most of you don't appreciate the efforts, but at the same time, Blue, know that some of us truly do. Bars. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah! What's good, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday afternoon. I hope that you are in your right frame of mind, in right place and space, in time, because the world is going to continue whether you decide to participate or not, So you should just make the most of it, like some of us do, and be a better person and contributor as a result. Yeah. So, we're coming out of a Friday evening where we had a chance to see a lot of good boxing. We saw some stuff that when we talk about Pro Box TV, and I've talked about this, I've stated so many times that Pro Box needs to really take advantage of those days and dates where boxing might be on the horizon, but not to try to compete with the big cards, because typically they're dealing with fighters who are former champions and contenders, title hopefuls, and others who will pretty much try their best to make their name and state their claim in the sport of boxing. And as long as they can do the cards off of, what's happening with the major cards, people will be able to lay eyes on their events. And that's something that they should really keep going with. I know sometimes it cannot be helped with scheduling and all of that, but you can make a more earnest effort. Check the calendars, check who's available, check and see where you can optimize, because fights that are on a Thursday or a Friday evening, sometimes even a Wednesday, can give people a great opportunity to enjoy the sport to the fullest. And we're seeing, even coming out of this past week, that had worked tremendously for them. So I encourage that. I truly do. And if you all encourage it as well, speak on it, you know, as my brother Deontay Wilder has been known to say, speak it, believe it, and receive it. Yeah, we can have that, you know. So one of the fights that they profiled in their main event yesterday was Jordan White, as he was taking on Renee Telly. Get on. And let me tell you something. That's a pretty darn good old Friday night, Tuesday night fights type of a deal, what we saw there, because it was a tremendous contrasting of styles where we got a chance to see a boxer and pretty much a slugger going for it. And I enjoyed when I got a chance to see the replay and catch the action. Listen, boxer puncher, as Giron had come away with his record now 22-5 with 13 KOs. El Bravo, as he's known, out of Mexico, was able to defeat White. He had him down in the 5th round and won a unanimous 10-round decision. White was thought to be the man coming into this battle who would use this as a springboard, a launching pad. Short Dog, as he's known, is a 5'7.5" orthodox boxer who entered the ring 19-1 with 12 KOs. But he was worse for wear after that. When Giron put those body shots on him, oh my. It was something to see. And I'll tell you something. That old Mexican style, that winding up that left hook to the liver, it had that boy White hopping to try to get out of the way. And his nose was pretty battered up too. I'll tell you something. When you watch boxing, you are able to see what the sport has to offer. When you are watching the contrasting styles, the opposing personalities and characters, it comes through, and no place like that square jungle, where they meet up. But this fight was very entertaining, especially for a Friday night, and to be able to see what was ongoing on that card was very entertaining. I don't know how many people, because I wasn't able to be on the airwaves last night, but like I said, I caught the fight in a replay. But if many were talking about this, if people were doing lives or whatever. But see, again, when you talk about boxing, there's other things than Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Canelo Alvarez. There's plenty more to talk about in the sport of boxing. And there was some pretty darn good boxing going on Pro Box TV. It really tells you now that those who profess to be, supporters of the sport, lovers of the sport, all of that, and then you find out that they don't mention people like who I'm talking about right now that were on this card. Because I'm going to talk about some of the other fights on the card as well. But this is what I'm saying. Let me take a quick moment to acknowledge who we got in the building this evening. Let's see who we got out there. My brother Joseph Townsend was in there early. saying salute Stormy. What's going on with you? The pimpin', huh? Joseph Townsend out there. Kamaran Fields is out there saying salute Stormy in chat, driving and listening. My brother Stephen L. the Mac is in the building. Had a great conversation with Stephen L. earlier. That's my brother there, my little bro, saying Sensei, yeah. That's right. Freedom's March is in the building. What's going on with you, brother? Good to see you. Taziar, Lennox in the building saying hello, Stormy in chat. What's good with you, Taziar? I see that you also sent Stormybman a cash app. We appreciate your donation to the channel. He says, how good was Big John Tate, huh? Well, let me say something about Big John Tate. Big John Tate was Riddick Bowe before you saw, Big Daddy Bowe. He was pretty much the same. 6'5", a guy who could bounce on his toes and pump the jab, had a decent right hand, but there were some character flaws there, and they really came to the forefront after Mike Weaver introduced him to a massive punch in the 15th round of their fight, where Tate, all he had to do was hang on and survive, and he would have gone on to be world title holder, but it was not to be. Tate was a big man, and remember, Ali was the influence of the day back then, so a lot of the heavyweights would try to box like Ali. A lot of them would try to pump the jab, move on their toes, show class, show rhythmic and perpetual motion. Shout out to our dearly departed historian Curtis Anderson, aka Kurt Sugar. That was his phrase, rhythmic and perpetual motion. But Tate just didn't have the resolve. He was a guy who it was imposing at 6'5" and at nearly 80-inch reach. You know, back in those times, again, like I said, so many fighters trying to emulate Ali wouldn't have an identity for themselves, just like a lot of fighters of today try to emulate Floyd Mayweather. There are so many other fighters who one may be able to pattern themselves after by getting whatever their natural physical attributes and talents may be, to kind of find a trainer who can help cultivate that and bring that out. But Tate was an underachiever, to sum it up. So that's what I wanted to say about that, brother. Thank you for your Cash App donation. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Trying to just finalize that transaction. Yeah. Once again, I say thank you for your donation to the channel. Royal Constrictor in the building. Quan Big Gun saying salute Sensei and salute blessings chat. Yeah. He says another week of foolishness. Ravens Nation is back with us saying evening everyone. What's happening with you, Ravens Nation? And Shower Liars in the building saying blessings Stormy in chat. Shower, I see you've been busy out there. I bet you're taking a little time off right now, aren't you? You see, I told you, when you're a content creator and you're out here and you're doing lives and doing videos and everything, you get a little tired, don't you, Shower? So we respect what you're doing with your grind. Keep it up, huh? Don't drop that left, huh? So you don't get hit on the chin, huh? And keep the chin tucked. And slide left and right and bob and weave. Don't forget that part either, huh? Yeah! Quan Big Gun says, trolls, stay out. Any trolls getting offline quick today. That's every day on the Stormybman channel, Quan Big Guns. Let me correct you, huh? Yeah. Let's see who else we got. Everybody's having a conversation right now. Stephen L says Pro Box was great. The Ring Girls wasn't like Big Red. No. Okay. Yes, I must second that, Stephen L. Mr. Shelton, LDBC or nothing in the building, saying yo with the deuces. Shower says Ohio runs Ring Girls, apparently. Possibly, huh? And Junior out there somewhere tracking them down. Yeah. Let's see who else we got out there in the building. Let's see. Oh yeah, Quan's Big Gun. See, we were watching the fights last week behind the scenes, and there were ring card girls, and all the brothers had something to say. Shower was like, "Oh, y'all sick," and we were like, "Yep." And Junior was there. He was at the event, so I think that was the what was his name? What was his name? Shower that was fighting the Cuban fighter last week. Yeah. So she says, I was about to go live and you went live laughing. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Shower. This is a pop-up. I don't do a lot of pop-ups, but I felt like I still had to get the one off in the chamber, because I didn't do it last night. And I apologize for, kind of stepping on your toes a little bit there. It was not intentional, but just trying to get, trying to get my content out there. Like I said, I try to make it up. Jonathan Simon in the building saying, salute Stormin'. Blessings to you, OG. Thank you so much. Blessings right back at you. Shower says, I got my dukes up. I hear you. Yeah. Stephen L says, yeah, she already know how I feel about her lives. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Makes sense. Hope guys enjoy. Oh yeah, Quan, we enjoyed, man. That's why we still talking about it. It left an impression. And if you were there, I'm sure you would have had plenty to say. In all caps. Yeah. Shower says, that shit wasn't behind the scenes. You can see Stormy live and directly talking about Big Red. Hey, don't be putting me on blast, Shower. Don't you be doing that now. You stop it. Shame on you. Because stop. What about them other dudes, They was bad too, Man. Don't be putting no spotlights on the sensei, I'm supposed to be in the shadows. Yeah. Jonathan Simon says, Stormy, I guess we went from the state of boxing to the state of exhibitions, Or shout out to Champside, expeditions, These fools can't even say the word properly, man. Can you believe that foolishness? Yeah, man. Listen. You won't hear me talking about it, okay? So you could come in and try to ask questions. You can try to throw them little frisbees, but Stormy ain't falling for it. I am not going to talk about the foolishness. I am not. So you could go elsewhere and hit all of that kind of stuff, Yeah. And Quan Big Guns, even though you write in all caps, you ain't going to get me to say nothing about it. So you might as well stop writing about it, because I ain't going to acknowledge it, right? You got me? Am I coming clear to you, Because you put shine where it should go. I've never seen shit shine, Now, some of y'all might think it's shine, but that's just the corn that be in it, And when the light hit it a certain kind of way. But there's no luster on shit. It ain't. And Stormy ain't about to start trying to give it. You dig? Anyway, back to the lesson at hand. Let's see, we got here. Going back to White versus Get On. Listen, man. Get On had White kind of beaten up there, you guys. He looked really battered to the face, huh? His nose was bleeding profusely. He probably swallowed a lot of blood too. I don't know if it was broke, but boy, he was bleeding from the nose. And Gideon was banging him really tough to the body. And we've seen Gideon out there in the past, huh? We've seen him in the ring competing against other fighters where, you know, it was going on. It was going down. Remember his fight against Floyd Schofield back in November of last year, huh? And guys like George Acosta and Diego Chavez, and, you know, he's been in there battling. And the guys that he's lost to have been fighters that have been pretty darn good, huh? When he lost to Jose Ramiro, and that was back in June of 2023, you know, Giovanni Cabrera, those were good fights. But it just goes to show, even if you lose some fights, you could still have the ability to come back from the lessons that you learn from fighting quality opposition. That's why, because a guy might have a handful of losses on his record, you don't be dismissive of him, because those losses may have made him turn things around in his personal career and do some things that can place him in the company of someone who's yet to be proven, like Jordan White, huh? You see there? See how I tied that together? That's exactly what you saw last night. Jordan needs to get back into the gym and realize that trying to look cute and sweet and smooth, you better learn how to fight, huh? And dig and find levels, huh, to get to, because competing like you did last night, there are more losses awaiting just around the bend. Yeah. Shower, he did bust Jordan up. He busted him up very well, to the body and to the head. Dale.Rev is out there saying, salute Stormybman. The fights last night were entertaining. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's why, I'm talking about them, because this is what you got to do, man. You got to do it. Talk about what should be talked about. He says, my favorite fight last night was Sagawa. Yeah, Sagawa performed very well. Very good and entertaining fight. You know, when guys are put in a position to prove themselves, sometimes guys go for it. Other times, guys just find themselves in that space. You know what I mean? Now, Sagawa out there battling against Brian Acosta from Mexico. He showed the young boy what was up, didn't he? 34 years of age, and then featherweight division, man. Now, he had lost a majority decision to Shushu Carrington in a fight last year, in believe it or not, it was a year ago, in September. That fight against Shushu was very close. He was competing with Shushu in a manner that had Shushu, when the fight was over, embracing him, giving him dap on his performance. Now, of course, we're removed from that now, right? A distance, a year, in fact. But if you were to ask Shushu would give that man credit, because he did not come to lay down. And Acosta found that out last night. I like to see fighters like that who will come to fight. You know, he had Acosta down and he couldn't recover. But again, this is what you like to see. And last night on Pro Box, we had those kind of competitive and action-packed with knockouts. You know, we kind of covered all the bases. Even though White and Gideon wasn't a distance fight, it was still one of those battles that the classic boxer against a classic slugger, and entertaining. Both guys good enough to do damage to one another or hurt one another or get one another's attention, huh? But not to the degree that they could stop the other guy. Although I do feel that there were moments where Giron looked like he might be able to put White out. And maybe he was lacking conditioning or something. But that's what I was looking at. Also, we had Jonathan Cardoso taking on Luis Torres Valenzuela in another fight that we just saw these guys get in there, and Cardoso was down in the 9th round, but he got up and he was able to be victorious. It's so funny, man, when you watch these fights and you think something can be going one way, and then all of a sudden, ding, I didn't see that coming. Shout out to Pietro from Avengers, Age of Ultron, Wanda's twin brother. What? You didn't see that coming? Yeah. So, yep. Jonathan Simon says, Glenn Johnson finished with a hell of a career, learned from everything he went through in boxing. Exactly. Johnson is a fighter that definitely had gone through several different trials and even ended up becoming a world title holder because of his tenacity and his dedication to his craft, and, as you stated, learning from his experiences, whether they were positive or negative experiences. His upset win over Roy Jones Jr., no one saw that coming. And, he had been in there with the likes of Bernard Hopkins and others and just finally made it through. He's a guy that if you want to see a fighter turn into a trainer, I don't know how much Glenn Johnson has interest in the sport to train someone else, but his experiences alone could qualify him as someone who could really mentor a young fighter. Even if it's not about the X's and O's, he could prepare a fighter for what he could expect out there or be leery and watch out for. That's one of the reasons why you respect these veterans. Just because guys have losses on their records doesn't mean that they're incompetent, doesn't mean that they're shot, or as the guys like to say today, washed. No, it doesn't mean that at all. They can still contribute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shower says he'd come out in the first few seconds of the rounds until Giron got them guys. Yeah. Yep. Going back to a comment that Stephen L says, that third round, that straight left popped that nose. Yeah, man. Listen. And when you get hit in the nose like that, it's hard to breathe, It compromises a lot. Yeah, it compromises a lot. So, yeah. So, but yeah, that card was entertaining. Like I said, Pro Box, if they continue to do it that way, they can definitely, have me to tune in to them. Just like that fight, Elijah Flores, when he took on Luis Hernandez Ramos, second round knockout. Flores looked pretty good in that. And then, of course, there was another fight on there where Trayvon Marshall took on Cameron Crail. Another good fight there. 6-rounder. There were good fights on that Pro Box card. I like to encourage them to continue to bring, cards like that. especially a week before a big fight, because that's like a great appetizer, a warm-up, so to speak. Wouldn't you agree with that? That's the way I see it. Nobody has to just look at it the way I look at it, but I can kind of tell for those who tuned in were finding that card to be quite entertaining for them, and so did I. So, yeah. But man, oh man. Boxing is a real... When Larry Merchant called it the theater of the unexpected, he could not be more correct than that, boy, because you just don't know what's going to happen when you tune in to watch a boxing match. You have no idea. Things can get weird and they can get exciting. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. Let's see here. Back. There was something else I wanted to mention before I move forward. Yeah, here we go. I wanted to talk about, let's see. I wanted to talk about the fight that took place between Osley Iglesias and Vladimir Shishkin. That fight right there, we watched that one on Thursday evening before the Pro Box fight on Friday. Iglesias taking on Vladimir Shishkin was a good super middleweight battle between the athletic, powerful Osley Iglesias and the ponderous Vladimir Shishkin, who was a very heavy-handed fighter. And Shishkin is an older guy at 34 to Iglesias is 27 years of age. And Iglesias is a southpaw fighter, as Vladimir was orthodox. But Iglesias showed some repetitive values that could be capitalized by a much more experienced fighter and someone who could have the athletic ability to keep up with the speed and quickness that he had on display. Vladimir obviously couldn't take advantage of that, though he was trained by Sugar Hill Stewart. He didn't show a lot of ring IQ, but he did show a lot of resolve because he was getting hit with solid shots. But he took too many of them. And in the 8th round, you know, it was the curtains for old Shishkin. But I'll tell you something, man. I still give Shishkin credit. When we were watching the fight, I was talking about how he didn't move away from Osley too much. He was circling and staying within range. His problem was he wasn't able to get off. It wasn't that Osley was staying away from him. It was that he just wouldn't throw the shots. You have to let your hands go. And he just took a little bit too much punishment that wore him down over the time. But it was all in all, still a great performance by Osley Iglesias and catapulted him into consideration for a super middleweight title shot, as he came in as the IBO champion. And of course, the IBO is a title belt that is a lower status title belt, but it's still one all the same. So he may get this opportunity to fight for a world title. We'll have to see, because Canelo, as the undisputed champion, hasn't looked not once at one of the young contenders who have fought eliminator bouts for his title. Benavidez had done it. Morrell had done it. Mbili has done it. You're just not seeing Canelo fight those guys. Yeah, now he's getting ready to fight Crawford, who was definitely from a different weight class, a lower weight class, seemingly similar to what Canelo has been known to do, bringing guys up from lower weights to face them all the time. Eventually that's going to run out. But hey, it is what it is. But Osley Iglesias is definitely a fighter to keep your eye out for. Again, quick hands, southpaw, good snap on his punches and what have you. But I do believe that some of his deficiencies can catch up as he faces more experienced opposition. But that day may never come. That day may never come. So it's unfortunate that you look at it and see it for what it is. But yeah, that's one of the fights that I definitely wanted to say something about, because I felt like on paper that was a 50-50 fight. Even when I did my breakdown of it, I kind of gave Shishkin some credit because of the experience of the corner being out of Kronk Gym. They should have been able to, and I had remarked as we watched that fight, I was telling Shawa and the rest, I was saying this fight, it's like we can't hear what the corners are saying to the fighters, and that way it's almost incomplete in watching it, because if you can't hear the instructions that a cornerman is giving his fighter, you don't know if the fighter is performing poorly or is incapable of following instructions or what have you. So it's like, you just don't know, because you're not privy to, in some broadcasts, what we have the experience of, to be there and be on the scene and hear what a trainer is saying. I love to hear mic'd up trainers coaching, because again, it gives you an opportunity to see if that coach is really bringing his charge along the correct path, or is he sending him into his doom, or if he just doesn't have a clue or what have you. So that's the way I look at that. Yeah. So But shout out to Osley Iglesias for putting himself in a position to be able to, seek out a world title, as long as the winner of Crawford and Canelo sort things out. What will happen is either they're going to give those belts up or someone will be stripped or whatever, because, you know, boxing does that. You can't keep a guy undisputed for a long time. Yeah. Jonathan Simon is asking, Stormy, what step up do you think is needed next? Are you talking about Iglesias? Iglesias is he's not a prospect, even though his record is depicting him now being 13-0. He has a lot of amateur experience and everything, and I consider him out of that Loma school of amateur background. You know, you can put him in with another world-class fighter and he's going to be very competitive. My problem with his performance against Shiskin is that a lot of the punches that he was throwing were repetitive to the degree of, like, a smarter veteran, wiser beyond to that, he does this, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's the same pattern and sequence of punches. Well, you do that over and over again against an experienced guy, and he's going to catch you with timing or whatever, or counter, when he knows and recognizes those same punches are coming all the time. That's what Shiskin wasn't able to do or capitalize on. So that was a frustrating part. So in that fight, there were no adjustments. Osley did what he did, and Shiskin did what he did, and they kept going that way until the fight finished, with Osley wearing him down. Now, it would have been different if someone had made an adjustment and started doing some different tactics or looking to score in a different manner. See, those are the things that you should be looking for when you're watching a boxing match. Yeah. Jonathan Simon says, Pacheco and Hamza Shiraz and Lester Martinez, you think he is their class? That's what I meant. Listen, he can beat all three of those guys. He can beat all three of those guys. Pacheco, because Pacheco is so young and inexperienced. Shiraz, because Shiraz isn't the most confident guy. He could take Shiraz's confidence, just like Carlos Adames did. And I think Carlos is what is he? Dominican, right? Carlos Adames. Yeah, and this Cuban fighter, man, he could take that away from Shiraz. And Lester Martinez, I think that he could just be smarter, quicker, faster than Martinez. But Martinez is not a slouch. Martinez might be the next best out of the crop that you mentioned there, because he's trained by Bomac. And out of that, what is it called? The BMB gym in Omaha. Those men are very good trainers. I love what they do with their fighters. That's professionalism there. And Martinez, you can believe me, working out of that gym, he's getting some great education. The Guatemalan fighter, yeah. He says, Quan Big Gun says, Osley's got the KO when Skull couldn't. So well done, Iglesias. I don't like that name, Iglesias, but the brother looks good. Quan, you be saying some funny stuff sometime, bro. What do you mean you don't like the man's name? He's Cuban. That's Latin. Iglesias is a Latin name, bro. I know he look like your brother down the street, but he's Cuban, huh? Like, what you doing? We don't like your name, Quan, huh? What is that? She Quan? Look Quan, huh? What you doing? No? There's Queen 71. She be out there listening until she write in. I don't even know she be there. What's good with you? What's good with you there, Queen 71? She said, I saw that and thought, what the hell? Yeah, you know, people like to give Stormy, listen, people like to give Stormy shit to talk about, right? And give me talking shit because, okay, now you don't like the name, but whatever. Okay, all right. Shut up. If the brother never opened his mouth and you saw him down the street, you'd think he sang with Shalimar or something. Just with a crooked nose. No, Quan, brother, it's not a Cuban name. It's a Latin name. Cubans are Latin, bro. Latin and black. Huh? Because King Kong Ortiz and my man, what's the little dude? They look just like brothers. You understand? So you got to look at them and be like, okay, till they start talking. Rigo, there we go, Stephen L. Sometimes I draw a blank. I was talking about Rigondeaux. If Rigondeaux didn't open his mouth, you'd think he was African or Jamaican or something. Here's Queen backing me up. Thank you, Queen. She says, sometimes it's better just to keep things to yourself. There you go. There you go, huh? You gonna make me spit out my salad, huh? And I was supposed to eat salad to have healthy. But you know, man, I tell you, bro. But you see, again, when you're out here and you're on these airwaves, that's why you got to be a little bit responsible, huh? You know, you showing everybody your OnlyFans, and some people don't like it, huh? Some people don't like it at all. You showing your OnlyFans, huh? Pull your britches up, huh? And zip the lips. Yeah. Jonathan says, Stormy, from inside information, David Morrell said in a conversation, Osley's is a problem from his days in the ring with him. I know. That's why he left the super middleweight division. Some of y'all might think that he left the super middleweight division because he was chasing David Benavidez. No, he was getting out because it's getting hot with Osley coming along. Huh? When Osley was like 2-0 and 3-0, Morrell was out there. Huh? When Osley got to like 9 and 10-0, Morrell was like, I can see clearly now the rain has gone, and so have I, to 175. Yeah, you see? But I said that a long time ago. It's just some of y'all may not remember because you wasn't tuned in to Stormybman. You was over there watching them other flakes talk about stuff they shouldn't be talking about. They should be talking about talent like that man, Osley Iglesias. And I was talking about it. I was like, oh, that guy. Oh, I see why David Morrell moved. Because see, David Morrell, who doing the moonwalk in the gym and all of that, the electric slide and all them dance moves and stuff, Osley being there going upsides their head. And I knew he had some battles with that guy. And it was like, yeah, this guy, and he don't have the same temperament that Morrell. Morrell has a little bit of a temperament, kind of playful and stuff like that. Osley is a killer in there. He's a killer. But you heard it from me. If I said it like a year ago, oh, this guy, Morrell, don't want nothing to do with him. And he got the hell out of Dodge. Yeah. Stephen L. says, Osley don't be dancing in the ring like Morrell. Yep. A condo in the building. What's happening with you, a condo? Salute to you. He says, yep, he ducked a lot of smoke. Absolutely, man. Yep. Yeah, man. That's, but I talk about the fighters, when I lay eyes on them and I can see someone has something, I always let you guys know, hey, this is one to watch. This is somebody, And one person I said 2 years ago was one to watch was Diego Pacheco. But I'm gonna tell you something. Let me punch in because I'm gonna be specific about what I say about Pacheco. Let me see here. I always misspell his name. Okay, Diego Pacheco. He's now 24-0 with 18 KOs. But what fight was that I watched with him? It may have been his fight against Sean McCalman. That fight was in April of 2024, last year. He went the distance in that fight. Excuse me. He went the distance in that fight. And from what I remember, McCalman came into that fight as an undefeated fighter. And Pacheco didn't look very good in that fight. And I was like, uh-oh, there's something that I'm seeing here. Because he is getting a lot of stoppages. But that was like a real step-up fight for him. And, and ever since, then he had the fight with Matt Selecki where he stopped Selecki in 6. Then he fought Steven Too Cold Nelson, where he got a UD against Steven, but it wasn't polished. It wasn't a polished victory. So I began to rethink about Pacheco. I'm like, maybe he is not ready for that next level yet. And he's 24 years of age. Now, some people might say, well, but I'm going to tell you something. Maturity comes in different packages for certain individuals. And though he is, I think Pacheco he's either, I don't want to say what his nationality is and be incorrect, but he's an American Latin fighter. But he may not be ready for that next level. He may have spent too many fights knocking guys out that he could knock out and not learning the trade, because if you're talking about putting him in against someone like Hamza Shiraz or whatever, he is, Shawa, thank you for correcting me, Hispanic American. Thank you for the correction. If you're thinking about putting him in with someone like Hamza Shiraz, even though Shiraz is kind of on the same learning curve, I think he's more advanced than Pacheco, even though Pacheco has more fights. That's because they keep feeding him guys that he knock out. You could pad your record with knockouts, but if you haven't learned how to handle yourself in the ring, handle difficulties in the ring, handle trial, handle a sense of being tested in a certain kind of way, there are fights and matchups that you could have that can help you with that, but you got people that's just trying to sell you as a knockout artist and all of this. This is why you fall off. kind of like Beck the Bully. You know, he's a super middleweight, right? Beck the Bully is Beck the Bully a super middleweight, or is he a someone answer that for me. Is Beck the Bully a super middleweight? I thought he was a super middleweight. Shower, is he's a super middleweight, Beck the Bully? See, it's important that you get through a stage of they feed you these fighters to knock out, but then you have to start learning how to fight. Okay, Stephen L says yes, he is. Thank you, Stephen L. Thank you guys for just looking up for me. But the reason I mention it is because remember, they were feeding him all of these guys, and he was just banging them out of there with that left hook to the body or a left hook to the chin. And then he got in there with Gabe Rosado, remember? And Gabe Rosado knocked him out with a counter punch. Now, he hit Gabe first with that left hook, and that Gabe took a knee because that was a hard shot to the body. But then Gabe caught him lunging and leaping in and knocked his behind out with a counter right, put him to sleep, put him on ice. I think I saw someone, it wasn't the ref, put a toe tag on him before they pulled the cover over his body. And Beck went bye-bye for a while. He didn't come back for a minute. He was... Yeah. So that was that. But he learned his lesson because now he's trying to box a little more and everything. But see, this is what I'm saying. So Diego may have the same issues. Huh? He may have the same issues. So they don't want to move him too fast now, but you got damn near 30 fights, huh? It's like, what you doing, man? When you gonna learn? Stephen L says, Beck is a super middleweight boxer. The Uzbek fighter competes in the 168-pound weight class and held the WBO Global and WBA International Intercontinental super middleweight titles. Thank you, Stephen L. Appreciate it. But see, okay, see, Quan, you say you never heard of him, right? This is why. Yeah, that's fine, Stephen L. Listen, this is why you should talk about the fighters. You understand? Talk about the fighters. It's no problem to do that. But you got guys, they talk about the same recycled guys, the same names over and over again. You look on their page and they got 50 videos on 3 different dudes. It's freaking crazy, man. I talk boxing, man. This is why like some people just sit back and listen and watch, and some people be meme mugging the screen with that, like that Snoop Dogg meme I have, huh? Yeah. Just like I put on the screen right now, I haven't even got to it yet. But I was going to talk about this rematch that let me see here, because I already went back and talked about Iglesias. Needed to do that. Boy, let's see here. Yeah, what I was gonna say, I had put it on the screen that I was gonna talk about these guys. Lewis Crocker and Patty Donovan going into their rematch. Another good fight, and this is a welterweight matchup. You guys should be watching these guys. Yes, they're Caucasian men, but they can fight. And they're fighting for the right to get at one of those titles at welterweight. I think it's the IBF that Boots vacated. Let me see. I have to look it up and see. Champions. Let's see. Yeah, fighting out of Ireland, man. Paddy Donovan and Lewis Crocker, they're going to be fighting for the vacant IBF. That used to be Boots' belt, right? Now you see, Boots could have hung around there and fought one of these guys, made some good money, because he could have went overseas and fight the guy. That's how you make your money. You go over there and fight. But you can't get him out of Philadelphia, huh? You listen. No, but these two guys, they fought before, and this is going to be a rematch next Saturday, the 13th. And Donovan found himself DQ'd in the first fight. He was winning on points, but couldn't stop himself from fouling. And I talked about that fight. I covered it, and it was like my post-fight show. I've never seen a guy just lose a fight from fouling and stuff that he was winning hands down and got himself DQ'd like that. It was like Mike Tyson when he went crazy after biting Holyfield or some stuff. It was like, man, what are you doing? Yeah. Queen says, facts. Y'all should be tired of hearing about the same 6 niggas. Thank you so much, Queen. See, I like when people back me up like that because it's the truth, right? It's like, keep watching the same old people, man. It's like, I've seen this before. Reruns. Shit. And they swear they be knowing boxing. But you throw a name out there and they be like, oh, I never heard of him. Man, if you don't knock it off, like that's in my Bill Haney voice, if you don't knock it off, oh, these people, man. Queen says, we'll be watching the rematch over here. Listen, it's going to be a good fight because I think that now, because of the DQ, Crocker has to fight a different fight. He was losing the first fight and almost got stopped himself, but Paddy couldn't help himself. You know, Paddy is like a thug. He's like one of those Irish thugs, man. He just wanted to beat the dude up and hurt him regardless of, I don't care that I'm winning on points. I want to hurt him. And it's like 2 years separate them in age, with Crocker being the elder at 28. They're both Irishmen, but Paddy is straight up out of Ireland, and Crocker is out of the UK. These two dudes, man, I'm gonna tell you something. When you could get, they're kind of like throwbacks to the old days with the black and white boxers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They could get in there and it could be a down home fight and cuts and bleeding and everything. And if you're a boxing person, sometimes those are some of the best fights, I'm telling you. Yeah, Kamara, he says then at the end he cried like he didn't do anything. Yeah, right? He was like, oh, the referee is against me and everything. It's like, dude, they took like 25 points from you. and was still not trying to DQ you, and then you cried at the end, and the ref was like, I got no choice, you're out of here. It's like, he used up all, hey y'all, check this out. Donovan used up all of his privilege, he used up all his privilege. They was like, he came into the bar after the fight. You know how they had those pubs, old Donovans and shit. He walked into the bar. Everybody was looking. They had their cups and shit. He walked into the bar. This was him. Check this out, y'all. He walked into the bar. Everybody was sitting there with their mugs like this. They saw him come in. They was like, oh, fuck. The music stopped and shit. It was like, he was like, guys, family, I'm here. They was like, man, you got DQ. Go sit your ass down somewhere. But he was winning the fight. Can you imagine just being out front and everything, like that race? What race was that, you guys? Remember the dude thought he was winning, and he was like celebrating before he crossed the finish line, and I think he stumbled and fell or something, and then the person that was that's some funny shit, man. Well, you just knew you had it in the bag, but you didn't know the bag had a hole in it. See, that's why you gotta watch the rematch, because it ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Shit, Crocker might be able to entice him into fouling again. Remember Terry Norris against old boy when he DQ'd himself twice in a row? I'm like, man, what are you doing, Terry? Hitting the dude behind the head and after the bell in both fights. I'm like, what is this, Groundhog Day? I saw this already. Yeah, man. But yeah, see, and this is why, again, you watch boxing, because you could never guess, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. Man, there'll be some shit from left field and you'll be like, what the hell? Yep. I remember I was watching Holyfield and Bo second fight. Sitting there, it looked like Holyfield was getting ready to stop Bo. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Fan Man come in with a damn parachute, dropping into the ring. The parachute got caught on top of the canopy over the ring where the lights and stuff hang. And then he made it to the top rope where he was trying to come over the rope into the ring. And why he do that? Because it was in the corner where Riddick Bowe's corner with his people, and Riddick Bowe's security jumped up on that ring apron and they started whacking that dude in the head. They had one of them old, remember the old big cell phones that looked like the Fred Flintstone phones, the big ones? They was whacking dude in the head. Fan Man had a helmet on. They knocked him unconscious. That was hilarious. It was on pay-per-view, TVKO. And this shit is happening right in front of your face. Then when they ran the tape back, they showed the dude circling the stadium, right? And then they was like, oh, there's a guy with a glider coming. And it was like, oh, he looked like he's coming toward the ring. Man. Boy, I tell you, that was some funny stuff. I'll never forget that. Hey, y'all, check this out. Quan is asking, Do you think that first DQ was legit? I didn't watch the fight. Can somebody help our brother Quan out with that, shower or Queen? Would y'all like to, Kamara, listen, tell Quan I did not lie, did I? I said the dude was winning the fight hands down, but kept fouling till the ref had to throw his ass out. He was in the process of stopping Crocker. Had him hurt. He had dropped him. He was wobbly, and the ref has given him a standing 8 count. And then he just went after the dude, and the bell rang, and he kept punching him after the bell. I've never seen nothing like that before. He just could not help himself. He had already had a point deducted for fouling. The dude just, listen, I'm going to tell you, like a badass kid in daycare, right? The person presiding over the daycare, they tell Lil Johnny, you got to sit down or I'm going to put you in timeout. Lil Johnny say, I don't care. You say, okay, Lil Johnny, be cool. And Lil Johnny say, fuck you. And you put Lil Johnny in timeout. And Lil Johnny be like, fuck you, I ain't doing no timeout, whatever. You got to call mom and get his ass up out of daycare. That was Patty Donovan. The referee was like, man, you made me do this to you, boy. It's like, I'm trying to let the fight continue, but you just won't stop. You know what it was like, Shower, in chat? If he could have had a pistol, he would have pulled it out and shot Crocker with it. Dude was straight up. He was straight up from, what's that show that I like? Peaky Blinders and shit. He was like, dude was like, I am not lying. In my chat, for those of you in the chat that saw that fight, please put a 1 in there if I'm not lying, right? Man, that shit was hilarious. I'm like, damn, what is he doing? But I keep saying, like, okay, people were like, they don't want to watch the boxing or whatever, it's no big deal, that's why I watch it. Just like earlier today, there was a fight on the Zone, but I was doing some stuff around the house. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I'm gonna go back and watch the replay on that, because I'm telling you, man, some of this stuff, listen, you got to pay attention to it, man. You got to protect that McCormick versus Para. I'm going to go back and watch that because I didn't get a chance to watch. That was on the Zone earlier today. But I watched boxing because of this. You can learn stuff. It's like, man, really? Queen said, Peaky Blinders is a great show. It absolutely is. I remember I got turned on to it because those shorts from it were popping up on my news feed. I had heard of it but hadn't had a chance to watch it. I started watching that show. I was like, man, these guys are a trip. Yeah. Kamara says, All he had to do was stop. That's all he had to do, because he had to fight in the bag. But like I said, the bag had a hole in it. Brother Code 10 in the building. What's happening with you, man? He says, what's good, LDBC and Stormy B, man? Salute. Salute to you, brother. Hey, Quan. Okay, Quan says, sometimes UK boxing doesn't even feel real. Like when Warley was getting his butt whooped for 10 rounds and then Hooney gets KO'd. Like how? Hey, Quan, did you remember earlier when Queen said some things people should just keep to themselves? Ding dong! Kamara says Dickinson versus Williams was lit. Okay, I have to watch that. I'm gonna go back and watch it. You know, we got some fights coming up on DAZN this evening too. I think it's it's a lower rated fighter or something, or is that MVP? I don't know. I think that I saw there was some fights coming up. Queen says that part, yeah. Hey man, but that's okay. You know what I mean? It's like this is how we could enjoy ourselves to a degree. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But so next week those two guys are gonna get it on, and it's worth tuning into because you just don't know what's gonna happen. Because you might think that Paddy Donovan may be on his best behavior, but Terry Norris taught us different, didn't he? Because Terry Norris, let me punch Terry up. Yeah, let me punch Terry up. Luis Santana, there we go. Terry Norris first took on Luis Santana in November of 1994. He was defending his WBC super welterweight title, and he got DQ'd in the 5th round for hitting Santana with an illegal blow to the back of the head. Santana laid there on the canvas, wouldn't open his eyes or nothing. They was like, oh, he won't get up. So Terry got DQ'd. So in April of 1995, they had a rematch. In the rematch, Norris got DQ'd in the 3rd round, 2 rounds earlier, for hitting Santana after the bell. When the bell for round 3 had sounded, and Terry hit him in the back of the head, and dude goes down again. Now, the dude laid on the floor again, just like he did the first time. So then in August of the year, they had a 3rd fight. A trilogy they got out of this foolishness, you guys. And Terry Norris stopped him in 2 rounds. But you just didn't know what was going to happen. That's why I said we got to watch this fight between Donovan and Crocker, because there's no guarantee that Crocker is going to be on, Donovan is going to be on his best behavior. You just don't know, man. You just don't know. You got to tune in and see. Surprise! Deja vu all over again. Man. But that's why I love this sport, man. Because you're going to see some things, sometimes, and you'll be like, I can't believe what I saw. Yeah, Kamara, he said, dude is telling his grandchildren, I beat Terry Norris twice on my back. Didn't even throw a punch. Man. But boy, I tell you, Queen 71 killed me with that. Yeah, they keep talking about the same 6 niggas. You ain't never lied, Queen. That's on the spot. That's even more accurate than what I suggested. Boy, I tell you. So we're going to get on to the other big fight that'll be on. Because that Donovan and Crocker 2, that's going to be in the UK. So it'll be earlier in the day. For those of you that got the zone, you could watch it earlier in the day. But later in the day is excuse me, later in the day, of course, it's going to be Canelo versus Crawford. And that fight right there is going to be one of the fights of the year. We'll see what's going to happen. I'll have a breakdown video on Friday. That's when mine will come out. But the card, because this is Turkey putting this together, even though the fight is in America on Netflix. Outstanding. Because we're going to see, let's see here. Trying to get my okay. This card is going to be pretty damn good. One of the fights that'll be opening up this card is going to be Japanese sensation at super featherweight Rito Tatsumi. This young guy, I think he has his hair dyed blonde if I'm not mistaken, is a young Japanese fighter that they are looking to be like as popular as Monster Inoue. He's 23 years of age, and he's quite a little powerful fighter down there at super featherweight. And he's going to be taking on Javier Martinez. Now, Javier Martinez is a young fighter that's 29, and his record is 7-2 with 4 KOs. So that's going to be opening up this card. You should want to watch the entire card here when you can. And now, if I'm not mistaken, Netflix will probably put something on YouTube or whatever, and then the live fights for the 3 or 4 matches that are going to be on Netflix, you know, you'll be able to switch over for the main event. But also, Stephen Too Cold Nelson is going to be coming in, and he's taking on Reiko Santana, a Cuban fighter who's 12-4. Now, Santana is 32 years of age, and he's only got 6 KOs out of his 12 fights. Never been stopped himself, but he's living in El Paso, Texas. So Nelson is taking him on, and Nelson, of course, is 37. Now, we know that he's been in the Bud Crawford gym, and his last fight was earlier this year in January. He lost a unanimous decision to Diego Pacheco. Now, Nelson is 20-1 with 16 KOs. We're going to find out if he is ready to, you know, continue and resume his career as a potential contender, world title challenger, or if he's just going to be a journeyman. 20-1 is not a bad record, but he's been fighting a lot of competition that has been kind of, you know, advantageous for him. He's been fed a lot of stiffs. Yeah, Shower, he did do well in the beginning, but not only did he lose steam, but the fact that he wasn't fighting someone that was in there to lay down for him, that's a factor. And you know, I talked about that earlier when I was talking about Diego fighting a lot of guys that are set up for him to. That's why he didn't look too good against Too Cold, but he also Too Cold didn't look too good against him. That super middleweight division got some people in there that can, you know, tell you the truth about yourself. So you got to get that together. If he don't get it together, he could definitely fall into the aspect of being a journeyman, even with a positive record, because it's about where his skill set is and where his ceiling is. So it's time for Too Cold to turn hot. You know what I'm saying? Also on the card is a heavyweight showdown. Ivan Dicko taking on Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin had an opportunity to make a splash in the heavyweight division when he faced Dillian White in a fight where White got a majority decision over him back in November of 2022. It was a hand-picked opponent for White, and it turned out that Franklin was a lot better than White thought. He followed that up with a battle against Anthony Joshua. Interesting, because Joshua and White should have fought a rematch with each other, and they both fought Franklin back to back. That was an interesting dynamic there. April of 2023 is when Franklin faced Joshua, though Joshua being coached at the time by Derek James, if I'm not mistaken, won a unanimous decision. It was kind of a lackluster workmanlike effort, and it had given Jermaine Franklin a little bit of shine because people didn't know who he was. Yeah, Queen, a lot of people feel that he was robbed against White. Yeah. So he's had 2 fights since the Joshua fight. He hasn't been as active as I would like to see him. And I would like to see him trimmed down too, because he's fighting at a weight that I feel like, let me see this last fight he had. .254 was what he weighed when he faced Devin Vargas back in May of 2024. I would like to see what he's going to come in weighing against Deco, because that 254 is too heavy for him. I think he should be 240, 245. I would love to see him at 235, but I'm afraid that's probably an improbability, huh? And we need to see him, perform better. Cut them damn dreads out your head too, Jermaine. You're a grown ass man. You don't need to be running around here with no damn dreads in your head, bro. Cut that mess out of there. 30 years of age, act like it. And tighten that waistline up. Now his opponent, Devin Vargas, is out of Ohio, so Junior might be liking this, huh? He's 43. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about his past fight, the guy he beat in his last fight. Ivan Deco is a fighter who is coming, I think, out of Kazakhstan, and is 6'9". That's where it's going to be a trouble for Jermaine, because the guy is so tall, 6 inches taller than him. But that guy is a plotter. He's been fighting a lot of setups, and we could say with Joshua and White on his record that Franklin has faced the best opposition between the two, and Deco is 35 years of age. So Franklin needs to come in shape and get busy in this fight. I'm hoping and pulling for him, because I just want to see the American heavyweights do a lot better than what they've shown and everything. It's time. It's time for guys to start, taking their careers more serious. That's why I spoke about him being in real good shape. If he's in real good shape, he could get rid of this damn dude, Deco, because Deco is just another one of those big dudes from over there that they are hoping they can dine on lackluster heavyweights out of America. And somebody's going to have to show some damn pride, huh? Show some damn pride and get in there and whoop this guy's ass. Yeah. So another fight that's going to be interesting. I have a video coming next week on this. I'll be doing breakdown videos on most of the fighters on this card, really. Callum Walsh taking on Fernando Vargas Jr. Now, Fernando Vargas Jr., the oldest Vargas brother, is someone, he's a southpaw, 5'11", try to fight like his dad, but this is a step-up fight for him, because Walsh is a fighter who has fought, he's coming out of Ireland, but he's been a guy that has been fighting a lot of the UK level fighters. It's time for him to define who he really is, because he's 14-0. And at the age of 24, he's a southpaw. He's got 11 KOs. Nicknamed King Walsh, Callum King Walsh. You know, he's out of Ireland. So that means he's tough. Fernando is coming in. And he's going to be facing this guy. He's a southpaw. His record is 17-0 with 15 KOs. He's fighting out of Las Vegas from the famous Vargas clan. But I'm going to tell you something. El Feroz Jr., he's going to have to really show something in this fight. And I don't think that Walsh is coming to lay down, which is why you should tune in to this, because it's a step-up fight, but it's not too far of a step, but it's a step against somebody who's not just being brought in to lay down for Vargas. And the bout is taking place at super welterweight, which is, you know, junior middleweight, and we got to see what's going to happen. My breakdown video will tell you more of what I think. But and I got that scheduled already. Also, 2 other fights that's on the card that I'm going to mention, including the Jermaine Franklin fight. My video premiered on Friday about the Franklin fight. Not many of you decided to check that out, but don't come back to storm me next week when Jermaine either wins or Deco wins spectacular, whatever. Don't come back to me then. I don't want, oh yeah, Stormy. Nope, I ain't talking to you. Huh? Leave me alone. Anyway, in another fight that could be a main eventer on certain cards on certain nights. Sergey Bohachuk taking on Brandon Adams in a rematch of a fight that these two men faced one another a few years back. Now, in that fight, Adams was successful, gave Sergey his first loss by stopping him. Yeah, salute to Brandon Adams, huh? Getting it done. March 2021. Down goes Sergey in the 8th round, where Adams left hook, chin, and that was it for Sergey. Yeah. That was good stuff. I watched that fight. They also took a point from Adams for low blows, but you know, it happens, right? Good fight. Steph Brown says, been listening quite a while, out with some friends right now, Storms, but be well today, sir. Salute to the chat family who's in this evening. Box on. What's good with you, Steph Brown? So it's going to be interesting. Now, Adams could get right back into the mix of things with a victory over Sergey. But will he do it? He's 36 now. But the Cannon, as he's known, could surprise us again. He lost a split decision back in November against Andreas Kasarakis, and that's the thing. They could be looking at Adams as food, and Adams could be looking at this fight as an opportunity, and all of a sudden you got a hot mix right there. And I kind of like that. I really like that. So we'll see what happens there. Then, of course, is the co-main event, you guys. The co-main event is Christian Mbili taking on Lester Martinez. This will be an interim title fight for the WBC belt. Super middleweights. Lester Martinez has the ability to not only box but punch very well. And out of Guatemala, he's 29. He's 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. He's got good pop on his punches, but he's trained out of B&B gym. I think it's that B&B, am I saying that correct? Where Bo Mac is training him. Listen, it's a good fight. Christian Mbili doesn't think that Lester Martinez is on his level. They both have fought Carlos Gongora, whereas in March of 2023, Mbili went life and death with Gongora, ended up winning a unanimous decision, but got rocked in that fight. Looked like he might have been out on his feet and everything, and Gongora blew a knockout. Lester Martinez beat the crap out of Carlos Gongora in June of last year. So Martinez is just a guy who keeps coming on and coming on. His record is 19-0 with 16 KOs. So he gets rid of people. And he's 5'11". And his getting rid of people is more like wearing you down and then taking you out. And Billy likes to jump in there and get on top of people with pressure right away. He's 29-0 with 24 KOs. A Frenchman fighting out of Cameroon, now residing in Canada. So solid is what they call him, because he's solid like a rock. But will Martinez have that hammer to break that rock? It's quite a possibility. It's a very good fight. Very good fight. And either one of these guys deserve a title shot. Martinez wins this fight, it would be considered an upset, but not to me. If Mbili wins this fight, it will recertify what I thought of him a couple of years ago when I first saw him for the first time. So there's a lot to be said here with these two. A lot to be said. And of course, you got the main event where Saul Canelo Alvarez is taking on Terrence Crawford. Like I said, my breakdown of that will be next week, next Friday. It'll premiere, but that's the main event. It'll be on Netflix for the undisputed super middleweight title. Good stuff here, man. Good boxing. That's a heck of a card with plenty to entertain. Yep, plenty to entertain. And as I had intimated earlier, Sunday, the next day, you'll see Monster Inoue taking on Murodjon Akhmadaliev, MJ as they like to call him. That will be the biggest fight of Inoue's career to date. Akhmadaliev is a strong fighter fighting out of Uzbekistan. He's 5'5" with a 68-inch reach, and he's a power punching fighter. Akhmadaliev is like a firecracker. He's 14-1 with 11 KOs. The one loss is a decision loss where he lost a split decision to Marlon Tapales. And that fight was in San Antonio. Many people might have thought that the Tapales decision was political. You had two judges that had it for Tapales, 113 and 115. And one judge had it for Murjan, 118 to 110. Does that sound like something? Home cooking? But since then, he has been hell-bent and inspired to end his fights with his fists. A string of 3 knockouts since that. That fight was in April of 2023, the Tapales loss. Monster said that, oh, if you can't beat Tapales, you don't deserve a fight with me and all of that stuff. He gave a lot of bullshit excuses to not face MJ. But now it's getting ready to go down. And it's going to be for Inoue's undisputed super bantamweight title. This is going to be a fight, you guys, that you have to check out. You got to check this fight out. If you don't tune in to watch this fight, you're not a boxing person. I know they're what they call the booger weights. They're down there at the little low weight classes. But these two men bring the KO between them. It's worth seeing, worth talking about. The fight will be in Japan. So we're probably going to get it early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But that is, what to look forward to next weekend, man. Some damn good fights, matchups, a lot on the table. I don't know if you guys know the seriousness behind the matchups, but it's pretty damn good. Stephen L says, yup, I hope MJ win this. I like Monster, but MJ nice too. Yeah, they're both good fighters. Yeah. Now, what I'd like to find out is who's going to broadcast that fight. Because when we had ESPN, that's where it would be, on ESPN. Is Shower still out there? Trying to see where we could watch the fight. Shower, how can we watch that fight with Monster and MJ? Because I kind of want to promote that. Nobody's really talking about it. Is it going to be on an app? Oh, that's going to be on Amazon Prime? Excuse me. That's going to be on Amazon Prime? Oh boy. Have to make sure I remind myself of that. I have Amazon Prime. Let's see here. Steph Brown says, I wouldn't be surprised if it's still on ESPN because Top Rank is still being presented by ESPN Deportes. Oscar Valdez has a fight coming up at Stormybman. Really? Okay. Yeah, I need to know in advance where that fight is going to be so I can check it out. Definitely looking. Yep. Yeah, what time is that, Stephen L. and what channel? That DAZN? So my allergies have kicked in. My nose is running now and sneezing. We got cooler temperatures here. Yeah, I can't see anything yet. Trying to see if Monster Inoue is in there. This is crazy how you have to punch all of this stuff in there. It's crazy. Nope, I don't have it on ESPN there. Oh well, I will figure some stuff out. But yeah, that's the day after Bud and Canelo do their thing, so it's a huge turnaround within the next few hours after the fight. So something worth looking into, especially if you don't mind and like the little dudes. You know what I mean? Hey, Rick Hill, thank you for that. He says, greetings, Stormy. The Oscar Valdez fight is on ESPN Deportes, starting around at 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so 9 p.m. my time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen L. as well. Yeah. So, hey, guys, I want to thank everybody. Yeah, that's right, Shaba. We'll get it. Between one of us, all of us working together, we got this, you know. But hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me this evening, man. I wanted to come out and, like I said, do my little bit that I could do talking about the fights coming up and what we can expect. Boxing has been so good this year. We're spoiled. You know, we're spoiled. And you just gotta appreciate what they've brought to us and what they've done for us with this sport that we profess to love so much. Queen is reiterating Amazon Prime for Monster. Yeah. Yep. So, with that being said, I'll release you guys into your evening, because I'm sure if the ESPN Deportes is on, they may have even some cards going right now. Or if there's something else on DAZN that you guys want to catch up with, But I thank you all for tuning in, smashing my like button. The Cash App donations, thank you guys for that. We're going to get ready to get on out of here and enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Enjoy those fights. There's a lot going on. Let's hear from our brother, the Focus Ball, huh? Yeah.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah. And so we've come to the end of another Friday night chop session, weekend edition with Stormybman. This was episode number 195. We're keeping it moving. And hey, be on the lookout for some more boxing people. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And for those of you who are going to stick around on the airwaves, Shower says she's going to be going live. So take your positive energies over to Shower Liar's channel and give her a little support and love over there as I get ready to do the same and try to see what I can do as far as seeing the Valdez matchup for this evening. So peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll catch you next week on time for the next Friday night chop session with Stormybman. Peace to everybody. We out.
What a nice day. Look at Jessica. Jessica, what are you doing? You know you can't swim. Get away from the water, Jessica. Jessica, get away from the... Oh, my God. Somebody help Jessica, please. She can't swim. Go help the... Jessica, run. Jessica, no. Oh, my God. No, Jessica. No, the water is pulling her back in. Where's the lifeguard? Lifeguard, hurry up. She can't swim. Jessica, no! Jesus! Jessica, lifeguard, please save her! Yes, 2 lifeguards! Save her, no! Please, Jessica! Oh, look, hey! That husband is coming! Oh, do all of them dead! Jessica! Hey, please, save her. Jessica, they're coming now. They're here, Jessica.